Hello, and welcome to Burning Issues, the only program that provides you a glimpse inside the Wichita Fire Department. I'm Fire Marshal Brad Crisp, and in this episode, we'll talk with a family member who lost a loved one in a fire earlier this year, and how it has affected their lives, and how they look to help others to avoid that same fate. Each year, fires occur in people's homes, resulting in nearly 400 deaths and $990 million in damage nationwide. Locally, Wichita experiences an average of 5 preventable deaths. A tragic fire which occurred on January 18th of 2014 inspired a family to make a difference in our community. On that fateful day, a duplex fire occurred in the 100 block of West Zimmerly. One occupant, 41-year-old Clifford Davis, was fatally injured in the fire. The fire was accidental, and it was determined there were no working smoke alarms in the home. This tragedy spurred family and friends of Mr. Davis to work to prevent this kind of loss for others in our community. In the wake of his death, Mr. Davis's sister, Tylee Davis, set up a memorial fund in his name, with the proceeds to be used for the purchase of smoke alarms to be distributed by the Wichita Fire Department. Another effort was undertaken by a family friend, South High senior Alex Barton, who considered Mr. Davis her uncle. She worked with a South High faculty sponsor to sell wristbands printed with the words, "Smoke detectors save lives." Proceeds from these sales will also be donated to the Wichita Fire Department to purchase smoke alarms. I'd like to welcome Tylee Davis to the Burning Issues show. Tylee, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
First, let me say we are very, very saddened by your loss and your family's loss. And we're very appreciative that you're here because this is really unique for us to have somebody who's willing to come back and talk to us after a loved one has lost their life is not a common occurrence. And we're saddened for your loss, but at the same time, I'm excited that you're here to be able to talk to you and get your perspective on what it's like to lose a loved one in a fire. So thank you very much for your willingness to be here.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your brother, Clifford?
Well, he was the one who always came to our house, and it was usually, he wanted to do laundry, but he'd always check our smoke alarms. He was like my kid's best friend.
Yeah.
Big brother to anybody he could.
Uh-huh.
He was a carpet layer.
Yeah.
He could lay anything.
Right.
It was kind of scary. Good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would meet you and immediately love you. Had no enemies.
You mentioned that, he would kind of check things out for you. Would he look around and say, "Hey, Tylee, what are you doing? Why is that not working? Or you shouldn't do that over here?"
Yeah, he even found the gas leak on our stove when we didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was always trying to find something to fix.
Always trying to help others?
Yes.
Well, there was a fire earlier this year, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so I know it's still kind of raw and it's still kind of fresh, but can you tell us what happened?
He was smoking and fell asleep with the cigarette, which that's what started the fire.
Right.
And
In his home?
Yes, in his home. He was the only one there at the time.
Yeah. And this was late at night?
Yeah, well, early in the morning. It was
Early
about
morning.
2 in the morning.
Yeah. How did you find out about the fire?
I woke up about 7 and got on Facebook, and I had everybody on there saying, "Call me, call me, call me." And my adopted brother called me. I guess he'd been trying, and we didn't hear the phone. So
Yeah.
that's how we found out.
So you found out about your brother's death on Facebook?
Yes.
Social media?
Yeah.
Yeah. Social media, it's vast and it's now.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's things put on Facebook or Twitter or social media outlets that are even ahead of like the fire department being there.
Right.
So how did that make you feel, having to find out about your brother's death on Facebook?
At first I was a little angry because I thought somebody should have came and told us. But then I was relieved that we knew.
Yeah.
So.
Did you get quite a bit of support starting right off the bat from
Yes.
your other family members
Yeah,
and friends?
immediately. And actually, all the extended family that we kind of lost contact with came back.
And that all happened through Facebook and
Yes.
Twitter and those kinds of
Oh, yeah.
things happening so quickly?
Yes.
So that was probably good to have that support
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah, it made me feel much more stronger. Because for a minute I wanted to delete my Facebook.
Right. What were your first thoughts when you found out that there had been a fire?
That he wasn't home.
That was what you were hoping?
Oh, yeah. That was my first thought. He wasn't there. It couldn't have been him.
Yeah. And then did you find out later by going to the scene that your brother was there, or how did you find out that he was there?
We did go to the scene, and we spoke to an officer that was there, and he asked us to go to St. Francis. And that's where we found out. That's where they said, yeah, it was him.
What did you think?
I don't know. Everything. It was a weird feeling. I remember wanting to go tell my sister, who was also in St. Francis. They wouldn't let me go up. Wanted to pass out. It was really weird.
Was it hard?
Yeah.
Yeah. How has this changed the dynamics in your family?
I think it's brought us closer. Family we haven't talked to. We're all back together. Actually, we're leaving to do a family reunion.
Great.
Yeah.
So the tragedy of losing somebody in your family has brought you closer together.
Yeah. Cousins I didn't even know about. Everything brought us all back.
What's it like when there's a memory or there's a moment where people would associate that with Clifford and you guys are all around? How does that work?
Well, it's kind of like at his memorial. It wasn't sad. It was happy, because that's what he would have wanted. And everybody shares happy stories, so it's a good thing.
A celebration of his life?
Yes.
And it's good to have those kinds of memories.
Oh,
Are they
yeah.
like songs or moments when you...
Yeah, like my shirt.
Yeah.
His favorite band and
I see.
stuff like that, so yeah.
So you guys have found a way to celebrate his life even though it was through a tragedy.
Yes.
An accidental fire. There wasn't a working smoke alarm in his home, which may have made a difference.
Yeah.
And you guys have been able to pull together.
Yes.
That's a great story.
And that, like Alex and them, we had lost contact with them. And now they're back to being like my family again.
Right.
Which is great.
How has this changed your outlook on being kind of fire conscientious, fire safety?
Well, we do have a working smoke alarm in every room.
Right.
And 2 in the basement. We have 1 in the garage. And yes, I go everywhere and check to see. We went to the zoo and I asked one of the zoo officials what would happen if there was a fire.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere I go, I kind of want to know a plan.
Yeah. When you go places, you're kind of looking around, even if you're at a friend's home or going through a shopping center or a store, you're kind of looking for that emergency exit, and it's good to have a plan.
Yeah.
Is it getting easier? Is every day that goes by just a little bit easier for you?
Yes, it is.
How do you do that? How do you cope with that?
Well, I think knowing that we're trying to put the word out to help people, that's what he would have wanted.
Yeah.
So I think his strength is ours now. That's kind of helping.
You brought up a great point. You're not just sitting back and waiting for something to happen. You and several family members have made it a point to have a memorial fund and to make a difference in this community. Can you tell us a little bit about that idea and how that came about?
Well, my sister wanted to start a memorial fund, and I asked my dad, "You want to start it?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Can we give it all to the Wichita Fire Department for smoke alarms?" He said yes, and that's because he was talking to the boy next door, found out they didn't even know what a smoke alarm was.
Wow.
And that bothered my dad. So it was really quick and easy. We set it up 2 days after he passed and got it going.
And so not only did you set up the memorial fund where people could donate, but you had a family friend also sell bracelets, correct?
Yes. These.
Why don't you show one of those off for us? It says smoke detectors save lives. They're bright yellow with orange
Smoke
lettering.
detectors save lives, and we still have these available.
Right. You were selling them for $1 a piece?
Yes, $1 a piece, and they are available through my Facebook.
Why don't you go ahead and give us your Facebook contact?
It's tyleedavis@yahoo.com.
Okay. And folks can go to that site and there's a memorial fund
Yes.
link there.
Yeah.
Correct? So a couple of months ago, you guys came to us and said, hey, we set up this memorial fund and we want to donate this money. You brought us nearly $1,400 to go towards the purchase of smoke alarms for this community, and that's just incredible. That's a lot of money, and obviously we're using that money to purchase smoke alarms. In fact, when we started our smoke alarm installation program in 2011, we had no idea it would take off like it has, but we've installed over 1,000 smoke alarms in this community since it took off, and obviously that money is going to go towards getting even more installed. This year alone, we've installed more than 200 smoke alarms to people who didn't have one, didn't know what one was, or didn't realize that they needed one. So if you had one piece of advice for folks out there about fire safety, what would that piece of advice be?
That smoking does cause fires.
Yeah.
You've got to watch your cigarettes, make sure they're out, don't smoke in the homes, have a fire safety place where you can put them out, never smoke when you're tired.
Right. The cause of your brother's fire, we believe, was careless smoking.
Yes.
And had he, been able to stay awake or stay up on his feet and not fall asleep, or put it out in a metal butt can, or put it out with water, this tragedy might have been prevented. And also, having a working smoke alarm might have made a difference as well. Because we know, people get tired and they fall asleep, and accidents do happen, but those smoke alarms are loud and they're there to detect the presence of fire and to wake you up if you're in a dead sleep, and it could have made a difference there too. I have some tips that I want to share with the folks who listen to our program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those and what people can do to keep their homes safe. Is there anything you'd like to add before we start talking about home fire safety tips?
No, just make sure you check your smoke alarms. And if you're not capable of getting up there, ask somebody to help.
Right. Absolutely, and that's a program that the Wichita Fire Department is glad to be partners with. A number of our vendors here locally, a number of community businesses have kicked in to donate smoke alarms and batteries, in addition to what the Davis family has done. There's a number of things that you can do to help keep your home safe. First, you want to try to prevent fires from happening. Don't leave candles unattended. Don't let children play with matches and lighters. Never leave your kitchen when you're cooking. Kitchen fires are actually the #1 leading cause of fires, not only here in Wichita, but nationwide, and careless smoking is right behind it. We know people don't try to start fires intentionally by losing track of their cigarettes or their cigars, and maybe careless smoking isn't the best term to use, but nevertheless, a cigarette gets lost in an ashtray or in a couch, or it gets laid on a bed or on a bedside table, or it gets discarded in a trash can, and it causes a fire. And then finally, I want to leave everybody with a piece of advice that we'd already talked about as far as having those smoke alarms. Have a smoke alarm in your home, have one in your sleeping area, and test it. Every 6 months, replace the battery. Have a plan. If you have children, set the smoke alarm off and see what they do, see how they react. Teach them how to get out of your home. There's more than one way to get out of your home. There's your front door, there's your back door, there's a garage door sometimes, there's windows all over the place. Teach your kids how to open up the windows and how to climb out of their windows safely. You can get out of your home in more than one way, and having a working smoke alarm is going to allow you the opportunity to react in the middle of the night when there's a fire and give you those precious few seconds to possibly save your life. So Tylee, thank you very much for being with us today. I really do appreciate you taking your time, and again, our heart goes out to you and your family.
Thank you.
We want to give special thanks to our community partnerships with All Pack Batteries, Safe Kids, Schofield Automobile Dealerships, and our newest partners, Shelter Insurance, Tyco Simplex Grinnell, Kansas Department of Health and Environment, and now the Davis family. If you would like to become more involved in the city of Wichita, or if you want to learn more about the Wichita Fire Department, you can go to wichita.gov, click on the Fire Department link, or check us out on Facebook. You can also call the Fire Department at 268-4441. This concludes an episode of Burning Issues. Our mission is to provide our community excellent proactive fire and life safety services through prevention, education, and protection. Remember, Wichita firefighters are highly trained professionals who are your friends and neighbors. They're Wichita's bravest, and they're somewhere serving you in many ways every day.